Alright guys, as you guys probably already know, CS2's movement is in a really weird place right now. We went from a cooked B-hop system to a beta branch experiment to everybody and their dog chaining perfect B-hops in matchmaking. Supposedly, Valve is working on a fix, but it's been over a week and nothing has shipped. What's going on? And to figure out exactly what's going on, we're going to have to go back to the start of Valve's most recent movement updates. So these updates started about a week ago with the implementation of AnimGraph 2, Valve's new animation system for Source 2. When Valve put CS2 onto their new animation system, people were quick to find out that their inputs seemed limited in one way or another. Here's some footage I recorded on the day of that update, and as you can see, it is clearly missing my jump input most of the time here if I'm doing any other input other than just the jump input. The jump input usually does not get registered if I am moving my mouse or if I'm pressing my WAS and D keys. Which brings us to the discovery of this command. This command was added and set to true by default a little over 2 weeks ago now. Having this set to true basically means that your mouse movements run on subtick, just like your keyboard inputs. Which on paper is a great idea, but it didn't really go exactly how they planned. So while all this chaos was unfolding, people on lower-end computers actually ended up reporting that they were experiencing far less inconsistencies than the other people were reporting. And soon enough, people realized that if they capped their frame rate to a really low number, for example 64, they would get a lot better consistency with these inputs. So you know that desktop computer that you're probably using to watch this video? The one that you poured your heart, sweat, and tears into to make sure that you got the highest frame rate possible to max out your high refresh rate monitor? Yeah, you can just throw that out the window, because little Timmy down the street using the Walmart ON computer he got 5 years ago now has the hardware advantage. But anyways, like I was saying, people quickly realized that they could cap their FPS to a lower value, specifically 64, and most of the consistency, if not all of it, would be back. Now, if you capped it to 64, or a multiple of it like 96 or 128, your consistency would shoot way up. You could get multiple inputs in the same tick without losing as many, sometimes hitting them absolutely perfectly. Now personally, I don't know why capping your FPS is actually fixing it, and I'm not going to give you some bogus explanation that ChatGPT is trying to give me. So here, listen, just know that if you cap your FPS and use the config, you're hitting all the shit that you were hitting before, but you're playing on capped FPS, like what is that, man? And this is where we get into the unprecedented territory. Something happened that has literally never happened before in the history of Counter-Strike. Valve added a beta branch to test B-hopping fixes. Now, if you bothered downloading this beta branch, you would immediately notice that there is something completely wrong with the game still. Your inputs would still get capped off and you wouldn't be able to do things as consistently. Now, B-hopping admittedly maybe felt like 10% better, but that doesn't really fix the overall issue with B-hopping as a whole. But if you remember how people were capping their FPS to improve their consistency of their inputs on the base game, well yeah, people went ahead and tried that out on the beta, and when they did, they noticed that they would hit literally every single B-hop they went for without missing. Like literally, if you capped your FPS like this, you could hit all of these hops with your spacebar. Now, most people, myself included, when they saw this, believed that that was not making it anywhere near the base game, and it was just going to stay inside the beta. They had all the resources that they need to test it to make sure that they won't be pushing anything like that to the base game. So most movement players slept soundly that night, knowing that Valve was working on it, and that tomorrow they might even get to test a new B-hopping test branch. But what they woke up to was something literally nobody could have possibly predicted ever in the history of time ever. Valve made a mistake. So you remember that B-hopping beta branch? The thing that Valve added to try to fix B-hopping before, implementing it to the core game and, messing with stuff a ton to actually fix it? It was a pretty good idea. And then they never used it. And they pushed the B-hopping branch to the main game. And, you know the rest. Everyone was capping their FPS using the D-subtick binds. Everyone was hitting B-hops. People who shouldn't hit B-hops were hitting B-hops. They were moving their mouse like they've never touched it before. You know the whole thing. The game is not really playable in this current state. Now, the update rolled out on a Friday, so people were giving a little bit of leniency, assuming that it would be patched on the next Monday. But here we are a week and a half later, and we've been seeing SteamDB pushes, the thing that people use to see if Valve is doing anything with the game, and they're clearly making changes behind the scenes, but nothing's been pushed to the actual game. And right now, matchmaking is still a full-blown B-hopping bonanza. Personally, I don't understand how the player base could possibly be split on something as simple as this. You can literally hit every single B-hop, and if you think that that's good for anyone, even people who enjoy playing the game for its movement, you haven't played enough with this. You've probably played for an hour and a half, thought it was really fun, and then got bored because it's boring. It's actually boring when things happen every time without trying. Very strange. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching the video. I really do hope it helped anyone who doesn't, keep their hand on the pulse of CS2 movement. Just because, it's been pretty hectic recently, so I figured I'd just make a video explaining absolutely everything that's happened so far. Just as a quick recap, for those of you who are scrolling on your phone or something while you were watching this, basically, Valve added this b-hopping beta branch. It made it so that you can hit b-hops every single time, then they put that into the core game, and they haven't even fixed it a week later. But anyways, guys, if you want to get the config that is on your screen right now, this video will teach you how to get it and how to install it. Now, for some people, they've been saying that they've been having issues with it, and let me just remind you guys that the game is completely broken, so yeah, the config will have issues at the moment. Now, some people on my previous video need much more detailed instructions on how to extract a zip file into the config folder, so if you want that, some of my older videos really do go into depth on how to do that. They will be there. Okay, you can go look on my channel and find them. Okay, thanks guys.